Welcome back. So, over the last 10 modules, you've really learned how to architect and build a powerful open source AI infrastructure right from the ground up. In this final capstone explainer, we're going to put all those pieces together and review the entire system you've now mastered. Let's dive right in. First things first, a huge congratulations to you. Seriously, you made it through all 10 modules, covering everything from the core of model training to the nitty-gritty details of infrastructure health. That is a massive accomplishment, and you now have the blueprint for a truly production-grade system. Okay, now for the important but mandatory part. Just so we're all clear, this is a review of what we discussed in the 10-module tutorial on open source tools for an AI data center. It's an overview based on a detailed report by Virtualization Options LLC, and it's really meant as general guidance. It's provided without any warranty and is definitely not legal or financial advice. So as always, we recommend you discuss any big moves with your financial, technical, and legal pros before taking action. And remember, these modules, they only scratch the surface of what's in the full research report. There's also a very good reason we focused only on open source solutions. In a fast-moving field like AI, commercial products can just vanish, leaving you high and dry. Open source gives you control and it gives you longevity. I want you to think of yourself as the architect here. You've done the hard work. You've designed this complex, interconnected system. So now we're going to do that final blueprint review, walking through every single component you've mastered to see how it all fits together to create the whole. We'll kick things off at the very heart of any AI operation, the model's own lifecycle. This first section is all about the essential tools you learned for bringing a model to life, from its very first training run to getting it deployed and keeping an eye on it with ongoing health checks. So Module 1, this was all about taming the complexity, right? Training modern AI models at scale is a huge, huge challenge. And you learned how tools like Kubeflow, Ray, and Horovod are basically the orchestra conductors here. They manage all those distributed jobs across a whole bunch of GPUs, making sure the entire process runs without a hitch. This is really the engine room of your entire stack. Of course, once a model is trained, the work is far from over. In Module 2, you learned how to give your model a continuous health checkup. It's all about making sure that model performs in the real world just as well as it did in the lab. You know, tools like Evidently AI and YLabs, they're like your stethoscopes, constantly listening for any signs of data drift or performance degradation. And the final piece of this life cycle puzzle, making your model actually useful. Module 3 was all about building that bridge to production. We explored some really robust serving platforms, like TorchServe, TensorFlow Serving, and the incredibly flexible Triton Inference Server. These are the tools that take your trained model and turn it into a high-performance, super reliable API that other applications can actually use. All right, now let's move down a layer in our blueprint to the core infrastructure. In this section, we'll review the foundational hardware and container management, the very bedrock that your entire AI system stands on. In Module 4, we tackled one of the most, let's be honest, expensive parts of this puzzle, GPUs. And what's really wild here are the numbers. With a single GPU costing tens of thousands of dollars, leaving 30% of that power just sitting there unused, that's not an option. So you learned how to use tools like NVIDIA's DCGM for that deep monitoring, and even cooler technologies like MIG, multi-instance GPU, to literally slice up these powerful resources and maximize every last drop of performance. Module 5 was all about one thing: building consistent, repeatable environments. See, AI workloads have these unique demands that your standard Kubernetes doesn't always handle right out of the box. So you learn how to layer on specialized tools, things like Kubeflow's training operators to simplify those complex distributed jobs, Volcano to add some powerful batch scheduling, and Helm charts to package up and deploy your entire stack with basically the click of a button. So, with the foundation solidly in place, we then moved on to the connective tissue of your system. This next section reviews the MLOps and data tools. These are the pipelines and processes that make sure everything you do is reproducible, automated, and totally version controlled. Module 6 was dedicated to the absolute core principle of MLOps, reproducibility. I mean, if you can't recreate a result, you don't really have a reliable system, do you? You explored powerful platforms like MLflow for that end-to-end management, weights and biases for really deep visualization, and DVC. And the key insight with DVC is how it extends the Git workflow you already know and love to handle massive datasets and models. That's a total game changer for collaboration and auditing. We all know a model is only as good as the data pipeline that feeds it. So in Module 8, we focused on automating that entire journey. As you can see here, it's a multi-step process, and you learned how tools like Airflow, Prefect, and the Kubernetes native Argo workflows can automate this entire chain. They turn what could be a complex manual task into a reliable, hands-off workflow. Okay, so the system is built, it's automated, but now how do you maintain it? This final section of our review covers the absolutely crucial components for visibility, control, and health across the entire stack. This is basically the system's central nervous system. In Module 7, you learned a fundamental truth. You can't manage what you can't see. We covered the 3 pillars of observability. For metrics, the what, you've got Prometheus. For logs, the why, you have tools like Loki. And for traces, the where, you have Jaeger. The critical thing to remember is that you really need all 3. Metrics tell you something's wrong, logs tell you why it's wrong, and traces show you exactly where in the system that failure happened. Next up, we got to talk about governance. Module 9 introduced the model registry, which really acts as the central, authoritative library for all of your models. With tools like the MLflow Model Registry, you're not just storing a file. You're managing a governed asset through its entire lifecycle, from staging and validation all the way to production and, crucially, with a clear rollback path if anything goes wrong. And finally, in Module 10, we went right back to the foundation. Because while model monitoring is critical, you can't forget about the health of the servers themselves. You learned about those fundamental tools like Node Exporter and cAdvisor, which give you that essential low-level visibility into CPU, memory, and network health. It's all about ensuring the ground beneath your feet is always stable. And with that, we've reviewed every single individual component. Now for the best part, let's put it all together and just admire the complete blueprint of the powerful integrated system you've learned how to build. And this just brilliantly illustrates the final result. I mean, look at how all these pieces fit together. You've got the Kubernetes infrastructure layer at the bottom, moving up through the data and training layers, all the way up to serving and observability. Each and every open source tool you learned has a specific place and a specific purpose, creating a cohesive end-to-end ML platform. And this really is the main takeaway from our entire series. It was never about just learning a random list of individual tools. The real power comes from understanding how to integrate them, how to make them work in concert to create a system that is so much greater than the sum of its parts. You've learned how to build that unified system. This quote from the source report just says it all, doesn't it? The reason we focused exclusively on open source solutions is because of this power and flexibility. Like we said at the start, this gives you the ability to build an enterprise-grade platform without that dreaded vendor lock-in, perfectly tailored to your specific needs and resilient against the shifting sands of the commercial market. So we'll end with this thought. You've done the work, you've studied the modules, and you now hold the complete blueprint for modern, scalable AI infrastructure. The only question left is, what incredible things are you going to build with it?